New in theaters this week, we have Scrambled, which is a Lionsgate release directed, starring, and written by Leah McKendrick. Scrambled follows a 30 something year old woman who starts thinking about life differently, whether she wants kids. She doesn't necessarily know if she does, in fact, want kids, but she wants the option to want to have kids. And thus, she decides to take the route of freezing her eggs. This is a comedy following her adventure as she discovers this part of herself that she wasn't really aware of and getting in touch with that side of herself. And I always think it is best in a review to be as honest as possible. And the reason I say this is because I know people who worked on the film Scrambled. If any of you have followed my channel for long enough, you know that someone named Mariah Owen has appeared on this channel a few times. She is actually one of the executive producers for Scrambled. She's been on my show Talking Scorsese. She was on my Taxi Driver and Casino episode. Thus, I do just want to disclose that right now because I believe in honesty and upfront, because that is the only reason that someone can trust a film critic, is knowing their kind of situation going into a review. And thus, if someone saw that I gave this film a certain review and they're like, well, he's friends with this person who worked on this film, can he really be trusted? I'm just disclosing that information right now for you. There is no secrets here on my channel. So, focusing in on Scrambled, directed, starring, written by Leah McKendrick, and she's who I really want to start this review off with, because Leah McKendrick is the driving force on this film. Maybe you've heard her name. She was just announced maybe a year or two ago. She is writing the remake, reboot, whatever it's this version of the film is going to be. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the 97 film. She is helping pen that screenplay. So her name's been out there. Maybe you've seen her in some of her other credits, such as Bad Mom. Leah McKendrick is very funny in this movie. I think she has a very natural comedic timing that suits this film well, as we're experiencing this character who, as she describes herself, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And as she's going through her life and now trying to develop and understand portions of her life that really, honestly, up until this point, she hadn't thought about. Her family dynamic is very well utilized. Clancy Brown is in this film. He has a very stern, funny part that really uses the Clancy Brown image that we all kind of know, this big, tough, macho guy. And it's just so well juxtaposed with Leah McKendrick's character, and it really brings this dynamic together, and also kind of just the struggles that she's facing while going through this case of freezing her eggs. And I think that dynamic, along with the rest of the family dynamic, really brings the raw emotion of this story out, which is then able to increase the humor and heartfelt nature of these movies. They work side by side. And I think the biggest thing that Scrambled has going for it is its performance and the style in which this film chooses to lay itself out on. I believe Scrambled can at times be a little bit overwritten and overdone. It can kind of give this feeling of just like repetitiveness, and just again this feeling of being extremely overwritten. However, in that messiness and overwritten nature of the script, I actually think there's a lot of honesty to be found in it. So it's one of these cases where you're just going for everything, that even if everything doesn't work, you're still finding a handful of gems and honesty in that pile. So, yes, while it is overwritten, I think it is a fair criticism to say that. I also believe it leads to something quite beautiful and honest. It's a film that is willing to be honest in a way that not a lot of other mainstream comedies are really able to do, which is the ugliness, the confusion, the happiness, the joy, all those mixed emotions that can be brought into an experience and not feeling sure of it yourself, that this film is able to capture, and it is able to play within this genre while doing some really good comedic timing. There is some really funny jokes in here. It is a movie that has jokes and is not afraid to offend audiences, but it's also a movie that I think, again, it's kind of this thing where it's so honest that it maybe is going to be off-putting to some audience members who just aren't used to hearing some of these things talked about in such an honest fashion. And the jokes have some uncomfortable elements of it, as this character is really just trying to express themselves and make light of a situation that they don't themselves understand. The humor is used as a tool to connect and build bridges, and it's all of that coming together to make something that is special. And I really do want to emphasize that I think that is the greatest strength of Scramble. It is able to achieve something special and unique. So, yes, while I do have some legitimate criticism of the film, I think it all does serve the director's vision of having a conversation and a dialogue while being truthful and funny about it. It is incredibly intelligent in scenes. I really enjoyed what Leah McKendrick brought to this film, and I can recommend Scrambled overall. On a scale of 5 stars, I am giving it 3 stars out of 5 stars, and I really do suggest you check out Scrambled either in a theater near you or when it is available to VOD. So, thank you so much for watching my review of Scrambled, and we'll be back in a few days continuing my Sundance review series. I know I still have a handful of titles to review. So thank you all for watching. And if you like this video, as always, hit the subscribe button down